Later in the show, we'll be joined by Method Man.
Yes, I am a comic book geek.
And we'll also talk with Amy Manson. Welcome to Marvel's Off the Rack.
3, 2, 1. Here she is, comic book 19 for Silicon Valley Rewind.
Hey! Hey guys! Alright, it's that special time again where we do a quick recap for Silicon Valley, the friggin' best show. Dang, this show is so good. So let's get started without further ado. So we're going to start with, so they're going to do a beta, it's the whole thing we start off with. Everyone's telling Richard, it's like, Richard, we got to do a beta, and he's just being such an uptight weirdo as usual, and he's just like, we don't need any more bad word of mouth. It's like, just shut up. Like, just stop worrying about what other people are saying and just beta your shit. And I love that Gilfoyle is just like, whatever, I'm just already going to give it to my fucking girl and, let her beta it. And they're just like, all right, fine. But I did love that Gilfoyle is saying that he doesn't trust anyone on principle. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna give out 10 invites. We'll do the beta. Richard's convinced he'll do the beta, and so he gives everyone 10 invites. They're gonna make it really small. And poor Dinesh, he doesn't have any friends to send his invites to. The whole episode, he's just like trying to fucking send invites to people. He has like no one. It's so funny. And how the whole Dinesh and Gilfoyle, who's got friends situation was just fucking killing me. I love that Gilfoyle goes out and like immediately goes and gets a friend and like comes back and it's like has coffees with this fucking guy and it's just like, oh man, like, hey friend, this is my friend Kevin. And he like gives him a hug and just like looks at Dinesh while giving Kevin a bro hug. That was a sick burn. That was really good. I loved the Kevin thing. And so that was a lot of fun. We also find out that the business manager stole about $6 million from Big Head and Bach Manatee. And so they're trying to get it back, but it's just like, man, they just got fucked, which makes me like really kind of scared because I'm getting a business manager. Well, not that I have any money for anyone to steal. In fact, it's like, help me get out of my debt. Not like, it's like, I don't know what they're going to do, but man, I'm going to make sure to keep my eyes on everybody. This is why I need a Jared. I need a friggin' Jared to like watch my shit like that. But we cut over to Hooli and we have Gavin Belson continuing to just be a fucking asshole to everybody. He's reading his employees' emails. He catches that the beta is out. He has his security guy who's like so eager to please him. The security guy, stages this like fake email thing so that they can get a beta invite so that they can look at what's going on, which totally bites him in the ass. And then, they find, and I love that the boys find out, that fucking Gavin, somebody at Hooli has got it. And so, at first, Gilfoyle's like, well, let me just shut it down, and Richard is like, well, wait, can we fuck with them a little bit? Gilfoyle's like, oh, wait a minute, what am I thinking? You're so right, and like starts putting the poop emoji. It's like starts fucking up the computer and everything. And how Gavin's just freaking out, just being like, cut the power, like just seeing Gavin's like downfall is just so great. Because if you watch this season, if you look, every single episode, he is pissing his own people off more and more and more. I mean, he's bumming out his workers who are now leaving from the Nucleus deal. They're just like, fuck this, we're out. This beta is awesome. Like, we can't even do this because he's asking them to do impossible work, and just thinking, oh, if I just tell you to do it, then you'll just do it. And it's like, that's no, like, you're crazy. And then he's also like in other episodes, he's been like telling his lawyers that they're useless, and fuck you. And then he's like pissing off people because they find out about the whole internet scrubbing thing. So he's pissing off his like the people who use his service. And then on top of that, he's got the security guard guy who's like wants to please him so bad. And then he's yelling at his security guard guy. Oh, and he fucking super bummed out his guru. So it's like Gavin is losing friends left and right. Like they're just like, he is just going to be destroyed by the end of the season. Like he's going to have no friends left, And I did notice, Mark, that Gavin totally was spitting when he was like, got the power. And it was just like just tons. It was so well acted. Like you could really feel the gravitas behind that. Gavin Belson is such a fascinating, character. He's just like such a great example of a bad king. It's like he's just a bad leader, like all around. He's just making the worst decisions, and it's fun to watch him fall. So Jared also, again, Jared has like the best lines this whole season. Like Jared's really coming along. Like he's just like the breakout star, I think, of this season. He had one line where he was talking, they're talking about hatchlings, and he's like, well, 3% of hatchlings are born mutated or dead. It's just like, what? Like, how do you know that? And then he's talking about like, he used to imagine Harriet Tubman was his roommate and that they would like plot their escapes together and like all this fucked up shit. Oh man, I still have to make a Winnie like bag. Like I need to do that. Like start
by the end of this.
Yeah, like start selling them on Etsy or something like that. And of course, since Dinesh is trying to hide the fact that he doesn't have any friends, of course he gets found out. And he keeps saying like, well, I don't know where my boys are at. I don't know where my boys are at. And Gilfoyle's like, your boys, and so he's like types in to see, where everybody is and all these invites. And how Dinesh just won't let it go, and Gilfoyle's like, I am happy to drag this out as long as you want to, Dinesh. Like just cop to it already. I love how they challenge one another constantly. And then later on, I love another great Gilfoyle line because like Gilfoyle's, you guys know I love the Gilfoyles. He's telling Richard the truth about people, and he's just like, people like to lie, Richard. He said the history of humanity is a book written in blood. We are animals in a pit, and he's talking about like how even his girlfriend, like he has this open relationship with his girlfriend and she lies to him about sleeping with other guys, even though he knows that she's not, and he's like, why is she doing that? It's like, because we people like to lie. And I loved the conclusion, how Gilfoyle and Dinesh, they always have their little deal. And so we find out that, Dinesh is openly shown as not having any friends. But on the other hand, Gilfoyle, they finally are getting ready to launch. They're going to fucking launch. They're going to fucking launch Pied Piper. We're so excited. And so he goes to the racks that they have set up in their garage, and that he built. And you remember, I think he named him Anton after Anton LaVey. And so he was saying, sorry, like, we're getting ready to launch and you've been a good fucking dude, but I can't take you with us. Like, you gotta go. And he's unplugging the fucking racks and all this shit. And Gilfoyle or Dinesh walks in on him, and he's like, well, I may not have any friends, but at least I'm not friends with a fucking metal box, And then Jared comes up with the best line as always. I love Jared. He's always looking out. He's like, don't you guys realize you are each other's best friends? And then they both at the same time say, fuck you, Jared. It's just so good. It's like, they are best friends. Like they challenge one another. They like to fuck with one another. Although it's more Gilfoyle fucking with Dinesh. But at the same time, it's so cute. It's so adorable. They're the best. I love those two together. They have such great comedic timing with one another. Like those guys are just on fire, like all of them. And then you have, I wasn't quite sure though about Monica's thing, because they have Monica and they give her a beta, and then she's like, oh, she doesn't really get it or she doesn't really like it, and I thought that the Monica thing was going to go in a different direction, where I thought she was just going to cop to being like, I'm just not smart enough to use this program. Like, I don't know how you're even supposed to use it. But they didn't really go that direction. She just said that she didn't like it and she just didn't think it was very intuitive, which, to be honest, like I'm not real. I mean, even though my whole career is on the internet, I'm not a tech person. I don't even have the internet at my apartment. Like, the studio has internet, but I don't even have a computer there because fuck computers, and I don't need them in my life. And so, yeah, I would have been if I was Monica's character, I would have just been like, I don't know what to do with this. My sister was showing me Snapchat and I was just like, I'm too fucking old. Like, I can't do this shit. So, but then Monica tells Richard, hey, it doesn't matter, like just launch it. If you think it's great, then you need to launch it, Richard. And so, they talk to Lori and they get it going. And so they're fucking launching finally. I'm so stoked for them. And on the other side, you have Bachman, and he's fucked, because he tied himself to Big Head without knowing that Big Head was like retardedly losing his money and then also getting stolen from. And then he's throwing this giant stupid luau on Alcatraz for the Bachmanity insanity thing, which was insane. And so now he's like $500,000 in debt or something over this. And so he has to make the choice of, having to potentially sell all of his shares to Pied Piper like right before they launch, and it's like, we don't know exactly what deal he made. We don't know exactly what's going on yet. I guess we're going to find out next episode. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of sad for Erlich though. I hope that like, even though I assume he's probably sold his shares, I really hope that the boys kind of pool together and like give him a present of like a bunch of money or something, because he has facilitated them at his incubator. I mean, he has let them move back in and like work there and all this stuff. And he's always been there for them at key pivotal moment times. So, I think that in the end, hopefully his boys will like help him out, even though he may have just fucked himself. But he did deserve. I mean, the luau, come on, the luau, get out of here. That's crazy. And also shout out to Jin Yang for his hilarious prank calls this fucking episode. My favorite was when Jin Yang is just hiding in the fucking kitchen and you like can see him obviously, and he's like, "Oh, hello, Erlich, this is your mom. You're not my baby." It's just like, so stupid. He's just like, "Not now, Jin Yang." Like, fuck off. Dude, I love Jin Yang. Like, that's such a dumb little character. But he's a lot of fun. So I was glad to see Jin Yang making some retarded prank calls. That was a lot of fun. So yes, fucking this show's amazing. I'm super excited about Silicon Valley. We've got 3 episodes left. I mean, I did like the fact that like I didn't have a heart attack this episode. Like it was a more chill episode, and I was just kind of like, like something terrible didn't happen, and like something didn't blow up in their faces, and like I'm excited. Like they're like all their hard work is like finally paying off, and I love the fact that they're the best, they're the best, and they work together so well, and they really fucking care about what they're doing, and they're doing it because they believe in it, not because they're working for some asshole at Huli, like they're not doing it just to compete and be dickheads and like try to take, steal from somebody else, and it's like, and that shows, and, I love it, and I feel like that's something that, Epic History X-Men Volume 3 would show you if you downloaded that, because it's like that's made by people who really care about what they're doing and like are really passionate about this, and we're doing it because we want to do it. We love doing this versus seeing something like Apocalypse fucking movie that sucks that, nobody cared about. And it was just everyone seemed like they were bored to even be there. So check out Epic History X-Men Volume 3, shameless plug on Vimeo on demand, $3.99, the price of a comic book. It's like for an hour long. It's a lot of fun. And so got a lot of stuff coming up. So take 5, go to the bathroom, refill your sippy cups, and we'll be back in just a minute. Today we'll be joined by actor and No You Shut Up co-creator Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh man, talk about puppet people.
That guy.
That's right.
Whoa. Welcome to Marvel's Off the Rack.